Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Happy All Saints Day! Earlier this year, I tore apart the Boondock Saints, and figured I would tear apart the sequel as well. The Boondock Saints 2 All Saints Day is an American vigilante action thriller film released on October 30th, 2009, about 10 years after the first film. It was once again written and directed by Troy Duffy and produced by Stage 6 Films. The second film was met with harsher criticism from critics and fans of the first movie. Recap: I hate the first film and everything it stood for, glorifying religious radicalism and violence, saying that we should let trigger-happy Catholics go around killing people they deem as evil, yet they spare Rocco, an irredeemable scumbag, enabling him to do more atrocities and want us to feel bad when he dies. Not helping is that the film lied about Kitty Genovese's murder to push its putrid message while reveling in bigoted juvenile humor. Even if you remove those aspects, the film fails as it's told in a boring and monotonous pattern, poorly shot and edited, and the slow-mo action would make even Zack Snyder nauseous. So as someone who hates the first film, how do I feel about the sequel? I prefer it over the first film, unironically. Make no mistake, All Saints Day is terrible, but at least I can get a kick out of how bad it is, though I wouldn't consider it a so bad it's good movie. It's more of a film that's fun to riff on. Connor and Murphy McManus have been living off the grid in Ireland for several years, working on a farm with their retired assassin father. When they learn they've been framed for the murder of a priest, they return to Boston to clear their names and take down the Yakavata Empire once again. Like last time, the film follows the same boring pattern of the McManus brothers doing something, an investigation, an explanation of what just happened, and a flashback of what was just told. Connor and Murphy McManus return, once again played by Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery, as well as their assassin father, Noah McManus, aka El Duce, once again played by Billy Connolly. Accompanying them is Romeo, played by Clifton Collins Jr., a Mexican fighter. He essentially fulfills the same role as Rocco from the previous movie, but I prefer him over Rocco, only because he doesn't murder defenseless animals and abuse women. Unfortunately, much of the humor involving him relies on making fun of his race.
I thought you said your car was inconspicuous.
Yeah, well, I don't like words which right in the middle.
But this is our Mexican.
Speaking of Rocco, he appears in a dream sequence. He is still unfunny and annoying. Smecker, once again played by Willem Dafoe, only appears at the end. In his place is Special Agent Eunice Bloom, played by Julian Benz, the agent assigned to the gang murders connected to the brothers, and a former apprentice of Smecker. She is easily the best thing about the movie, going all out. The villain of the movie, Concesio Yakavata, aka Little Yaka, played by Judd Nelson, the son of Don Papa Joe Yakavata, who was executed by the McManuses in the previous film. Little Yaka, like his father, is an underwhelming villain. Then there's Romeo, aka the Roman, played by Peter Fonda, who is too good for this. Noah's former friend, who had sent him to prison years before the events of both movies. Thankfully, I don't have to delve deeply into All Saints Day as I did with the first movie, because all the issues from the first film are present in the second film as well. As I pointed out earlier, All Saints Day is told in the same boring pattern, while shot in the same boring, lazy way, and it still has the same juvenile, bigoted humor from the first film.
I hope you guys like sandwiches, because we'll be eating them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hard man! You ain't hard! And that gives me a hard on! But not in a gay way or anything.
No, of course not. Yeah, it goes without saying.
Oh, and the film has some of the most hilariously bad dialogue I have ever heard.
It is because I am so smart that I make smart people feel that they are
These sons of bitches prison us in the ass! And then they wipe their our grandma's drapes!
That and the action scenes are still just characters firing guns in slow motion. I will say that the flashback of Noah's origin story and his descent into the world of assassination is the only cool and interesting part of the entire franchise. Honestly, All Saints Day would have been better off as a prequel following Noah. The Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day is an improvement over the first film, but it still falls flat. While it can be entertainingly bad, it doesn't save the movie much. On my rating scale, I'm going to give the Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day, 1 star. So that's my review for the Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day. What do you think? Do you prefer the sequel over the first film like me, or do you think the first film is better? Let me know in the comments. With all that being said, it looks like I'm done talking about the Boondock. Well, it looks like I'll have to deal with one more film. Until then, I'll be preparing for when that day comes.